All right, guys, so today I'm going to present to you my top 10 whiskeys of 2022. This is basically just a recap of my live stream that I did. I did it blind, all 10 whiskeys, and delivered some pretty interesting results. So if you don't want to go back and watch the live stream that I did, this will be a much easier way to see what my top 10 whiskeys were. 2022 was a pretty decent year for the whiskey world. There were some bourbons that really shined through. There's some ryes that really shined through as well as some disappointments. But today, there's no disappointments. This is my top 10 whiskeys of the year. We're going to go ahead and start with number 10. All right, guys, so coming in at number 10 was Locke & Company's Aspen Aged Rye. One of the things that makes this company so unique is they finish their whiskeys with hand-cut aspen chips for 8 months. Definitely delivers a nice kind of spicy, minty, kind of like wintergreeny feel to it. So when you do try this, it's very different from anything that's out on the market. Those aspen chips really do make a pretty big difference. Definitely one of the most interesting and unique pours that I had this year. Proud to say that this one came in at number 10 on my list. All right, guys, so coming in at number 9 is the Stellum Equinox. This was definitely a pour that took me by surprise. I reviewed it. I loved it. Again, it placed very well in my top 20 blind, and again, comes in at number 9 on my top 10 whiskeys of 2022, which I did blind. Again, this is a very layered, very complex whiskey. There's a lot to it, and I feel like as this whiskey opens up, it's going to become even more complex. Great mouthfeel to it. I love the flavors on this one and how they approach the palate. Definitely, there's not any single like note that kind of overtook anything else. It was just a really nice combination of some undertones, and then some of those spices that start to give you that bite, that rye bite in it too. Either way, this was a fantastic bottle. Can't wait to see what Stellum does in 2023. So coming in at number 8 was the Sagamore port finish. Man, let me tell you, this is a flavor bomb of a rye whiskey. When I did my top 20 blind, I had the sherry finish in there as well. But again, the top 20 blind, the sherry just didn't make the top 10. The port outdid it. And then again, comes in at number 8 on my top 10 whiskeys of 2022. Again, just such a flavor bomb of a rye whiskey. This one has all of those dark, rich, fruity notes that you want, and then some nice, undertones of that caramel and vanilla. Some of that rye spice is still definitely present on the palate as well. It was a beautiful combination of, again, those darker fruits, that rye spice, and then again, it's proofed very well. I love Sagamore. Again, they had 3 whiskeys in my top 20. Unfortunately, only one made it into my top 10 whiskeys of 2022. That was the port finish. Again, fantastic stuff here, guys. If you haven't grabbed a bottle, make sure you do. All right, guys, coming in at number 7 on the list was the Elijah Craig Batch C922. So, again, one of the things I really liked about the C922, it was the batch that really started to remind me of some of those older profiles of the Elijah Craigs, even going back into like the old Tombstone bottles. It's not quite there, but it's definitely heading in the right direction. This one had a ton of flavor to it. Nice undertones of caramel and vanilla, but there was also some chocolate, some leather, some oak, a little bit of tobacco in there as well. I think the proof point on this one was perfect. Would definitely love to see, Elijah Craig continue to have these profiles. You know what I mean? Those dark, rich profiles that really start to remind you of some of those older batches that were just phenomenal. Again, definitely happy that this one landed on my top 10 whiskeys. And again, coming in at number 7. All right, guys, coming in at number 6 was the Old Carter Rye Batch number 10. I was able to try a couple different of the Old Carter Ryes, but this one is the one that stood true. I think this one really kind of encompassed what I was looking for in a rye. You do get a little bit of that anise, you do get a little bit of that dill in there, but there's still a lot of rich, caramel and rye spice, a little bit of vanilla in there as well. This one really took me by surprise. Then, that clove aspect that I started to get off of this one as well, like going into the finish. That really was like the kicker for me. Definitely glad to see that Old Carter made my top 10 list. It beat out the Elijah Craig C922. Can't wait to see what these guys put out in 2023. All right, guys, coming in at number 5 is the Dancing Goat 100% corn whiskey, finished in Spanish oak. I'm going to tell you, this was probably one of my most surprising whiskeys last year. This thing just, again, being a 100% corn whiskey and then being finished in Spanish oak, it just brought forth such an amazing profile. Again, it completely took me by surprise. I love what Dancing Goat is doing. They start doing some of that experimental stuff, and they have the limousine rye, and then this 100% corn whiskey. I know they do some stuff with some American whiskeys as well. But this one, again, definitely took me by surprise. It did very, very well. It actually placed higher when I did my top 20. And then, again, place number 5 in my top 10. So blinds can change, but regardless, to say this thing is, this bottle is an absolute home run. Can't wait, again, to see what Dancing Goat can do in 2023. Congrats on making my top 5. Coming in at number 4 is none other than Barrell Craft Spirits. This is their batch number 33. This one, you talk about a flavor bomb of a whiskey. I mean, this one just took me on a roller coaster ride. Absolutely loved this thing when I reviewed it. Again, I love their ability to blend, how they blend. Each one of their batches is so different and so unique. And then you start getting into those, the dovetails and then the seagrass and the Armidas. Just amazing job. With their blending ability. Again, this batch number 33, it had everything that I wanted. It had everything I wanted in a whiskey. Coming in at number 3 was the Bardstown Discovery Series, batch number 9. This was actually one of the later arrivals that I received this year. Was able to try it. Freaking phenomenal. I mean, just absolutely crushed it. One of the things that really made this one unique was that Georgia whiskey that they incorporated into this one. It just, to me, the flavor profile, again, a lot of the Discovery Series are great. They're all, unique in their own way, but this one was just up here. I mean, it completely took me by surprise. Absolutely love the flavor profile on these. And again, when we talk about blending, just like Barrell Craft Spirits or, Foregate, I mean, right here, Bardstown Bourbon Company. I mean, the way that they, utilize their blending and what they're blending, what they're putting into the blend is, it's simply amazing. They do a fantastic job. I was a big fan of a lot of their expressions this year and last year. Again, this is always one of those companies that I always look forward to seeing, who they're working with or what they're putting out. Again, definitely happy to see that this Discovery Series made my top 3 whiskeys of 2022. So coming in at number 2, the bottle that I left at home was the George T. Stagg 2022. Again, we talk about a bottle that snuck in right at the last minute. That is a banger of a bottle. Again, it didn't make my number 1, but it started to remind me again, like the older George T. Stagg profiles. The 2020 was actually a pretty good pour. The 2020 I enjoyed. The 2019, 2018, not so much. I think they kind of missed the mark on those. 2017 was fantastic. I think this one right here takes over that 2020, and then it also takes over 2017. The George T. Stagg did remind me of some of those older profile Staggs, going back all the way to about that 2011 range. Didn't really compete flavor profile wise with anything prior to that, because some of those are just legendary pours. But the GTS was a fantastic pour. It's opened up a lot now. I was able to share that bottle with a couple friends during a get together, so it's about halfway gone. But needless to say, guys, number 2 was the George T. Stagg from 2022. All right, guys, so my whiskey of the year for 2022 was the Middle West Spirits Sherry Cask Finish Bourbon. This was their barrel proof version. This whiskey deserves a moment of silence. Yeah, it was that damn good. I remember when I was doing the blind, I kept going back to that nose, and it was just like maple. There was some maple that appeared there, and just dark fruit, some honey. Just, it was, the longer I let it set out, the more it really kind of started to appear on the nose. And I hadn't noticed that prior, but man, you talk about a whiskey that is just a punch of flavor. This bottle, it surprised me. The first time that I tried it, I knew that this was a special and unique bottle. I absolutely love this bottle. Again, this may be up there in my top 25 pours of all time. This thing just, it blew me away. Again, flavor profile on it is just these dark, rich fruits, but then you still you still get that bourbon influence to it too. So you're still getting those caramels, you're still getting those vanillas. There's some nice spice to it as well. I really can't say any more about what Middle West Spirits is doing. I absolutely love what they do. They put out some other amazing whiskeys, but this sherry cask finished bourbon from their double cask collection is just absolutely stellar, mind blowing. Congratulations to Middle West Spirits for taking that #1 spot and being my #1 whiskey in 2022. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews and my recap of my top 10 whiskeys of 2022. Guys, can't wait to see what 2023 brings. Again, thank you all for the support, and I think 2023 is going to be an amazing year for the whiskey world, guys. So until next time, guys, stay dusty.